This video is not for whales and dolphins, it's for you, because you are just like me. Average Out Gamer here, and today I want to talk about Vivian. And we're going to talk about why you should or shouldn't pull for her, and then I'm going to tell you why I still want to pull for her. Hey, I mean, you read the thumbnail, you know what's going to happen. Anyway, so why shouldn't you pull for her? Let's start there. So the big thing that is probably on everyone's mind coming into patch 1.7 is that 2.0 is coming, which means we're going to get a big reset, a bunch of new characters, a whole bunch of new story, and they're probably going to try and push those new characters to us. Whether or not it's going to be Yixuan in 2.0 remains to be seen, but regardless, there probably will be some pretty hype characters in 2.0. So I think it's important to be mindful of the fact that we are, 1.7 is going to be the end of our Season 1 arc, and then 2.0 is going to be the start of our Season 2 arc. There's a chance that they don't really have any particularly exciting characters for 2.0, and it's more of a setting the scene kind of story patch with some characters that are kind of mid, but the designs that we saw for a lot of the 2.0 characters do look really cool, so also do bear that in mind. And just building on that reason, Zenless has tended to back-to-back characters that work really, really well together. In fact, the first time that we're not seeing that is with Vivian and Hugo, and I think that's because they're using the reruns to kind of put them all together in one patch, right? So we're getting Vivian with Jane, and then we're getting Hugo with Lighter. So we're getting a really good agent to run alongside the agents that are being sold in the patch on the rerun. So that's why they might not feel like they necessarily need to put the agents back to back to kind of hard sell them to us like they did with Astra and Evelyn and Sambi and Trigger. But I guess where I'm going with this point is that if we expect that there is a potential for the hard sell to still hit us in patch 2.0 or 2.1, it might be good for free-to-play and low-spend players to amass a little bit of polychrome wealth. Build your polychrome empire, or, just hang on to it for a little bit, basically, because you might find yourself in a position where you really want to pull for two characters, like an Astra and Evelyn situation again. Another reason why you might not want to consider Vivian is that you don't have more anomaly. So Vivian is an anomaly character, yes, but she benefits from there being another anomaly character triggering anomalies in a more on-field fashion, while she is off-field with her a bloom mechanic. So if you don't have an on-field anomaly character, or a character who can function as an on-field anomaly character, whether or not you actually do want to play them like that is kind of up to you. But if you don't have an on-field anomaly character, it kind of makes very little sense to pick up Vivian unless you're aiming to go that way in the future. Now, if you are aiming to go that way in the future, then yeah, sure, by all means pick her up, but just don't expect a huge increase in the damage of your teams right now. It's kind of like picking up a stun agent before you've picked up the attack agent that they're supposed to be run with. I mean, it's probably better than that, and I think from what we've seen of Vivian's kit and scaling so far, it does seem like she's still going to be pretty good, even if you did want to on-field her. But yeah, as I said, if you don't have other anomaly to take advantage of her, then it might be a wise choice to kind of play it safe for now and not pick her up until you potentially do pick up someone like a Yanagi or a Jane. And on that note, Jane is running with her, but the chances that you're going to have, enough polychrome for both of them is probably pretty slim, and the chances that it's a good choice to blow that amount of polychrome on both of them before we head into 2.0 is also up in the air. Okay, and then another reason why you might want to skip is that you either don't like playing Anomaly. I mean, honestly, all Zenless's combat mostly is about building up bars, and it's either the stun bar or the anomaly bar. And for me personally, I don't really mind. I can swing either way. I think I more prefer anomaly because it gives you more options in terms of when you can deal damage as opposed to being limited to the stun window. And it's not like anomaly characters can't also take advantage of the stun window as well. Or, on the other side of things, you just might not like her design or her character. And I think that's completely valid as well. I have heard that people aren't overly keen on how simpy she is for Faith, and I think it's cute, but I can understand why some people wouldn't like that. Okay, so let's move on and think about why maybe you would want to consider Vivian. But just before then, this is your reminder that you probably aren't subscribed. Liking and subscribing is a great way to support creators like me on YouTube. You can also drop me a follow over on Twitch and come by, hang out, chat about this stuff live. And if you want to chat about any of this kind of stuff offline, then join the Discord. Links for all that in the description down below. Okay, so why should you pull for Vivian? Okay, so let's say you're already anomaly pilled. You either already have Jane or Yanagi or Miyabi or, just someone that you're planning to run her with. And if that's the case, then sure, yeah, the guides are out. We know at this point that she is going to be a really good second anomaly agent, basically, and going to enable a DPS anomaly agent, an on-field DPS anomaly agent to really excel. So if you're already anomaly pilled, then yeah, she's going to be a good pickup. I guess there is like a small caveat to this though, is that if you've pulled enough anomaly agents already, you might want to start taking your account in a different direction. As for me, I think I've pulled every anomaly character, and I'm gonna keep doing it because I like it. I'm basically down badder for anomaly than I ever have been for Zhu Yuan, and that's saying something. I guess the other reasons why you should think about Vivian is that you want to give yourself more team building flexibility, and you have enough to pull and then get enough under your belt in terms of polychrome for the 2.0 reset, which again is something that I think is completely fair. Or you may also want to skip if you want Hugo or one of the rerunning characters. So if you really want Jane or Lighter for potentially an Evelyn team, or maybe you just want Jane from a waifu over meta perspective, then yeah, sure, by all means, press pause on the spend there and actually get the characters that you would prefer. As for me and why I'm pulling for Vivian is I kind of fit into the category of why you should pretty much across the board. We've already mentioned that I'm an anomaly simp, and I also have decent A-rank anomaly supports as well as Astra. We've got Seth, we've got Lucy, that could also be used in anomaly teams, as well as also having, all of the main players for anomaly teams that Vivian's going to work well with. So I think I'm kind of in a position where getting Vivian is not necessarily going to lift my account particularly, but it is going to give me more options, and I'm completely fine with that. Now, I guess the last thing that specifically relates to me is that I really like playing Yanagi. Okay, I really like playing Yanagi. I really like playing on-field Yanagi. I really like playing Yanagi in more than just a Frostfall stack generator for Miyabi. So I do have teams that currently enable me to play on-field Yanagi. I have Bernice, who functions as her off-field, but a lot of electric weak enemies are resistant to fire, and it kind of puts me in a little bit of an awkward position, whereas if I want to run Yanagi, I end up running her sometimes without Bernice, but sometimes with Bernice and kind of just forcing it against the fire-resistant content. But with Vivian, I probably won't have that problem anymore. Now, of course, they're likely to change the way that types and resistances work at some point in the future, and we're likely to get a little bit more variability on that. And that will mean that I'll have a few different options in terms of who I want to run with my Yanagi, either Vivian or Bernice. And that sounds pretty fun to me. And then the other one could, in theory, pair up with Jane or pair up with Miyabi if I didn't want to run the Miyabi hyper carry with Lycan and Sukaku. So yeah, I think it just gives me a lot of flexibility to really take advantage of weakness and to make sure I actually get to play Yanagi. But anyway, that's enough out of me. I'm curious about what you guys are doing. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, remember to like and subscribe for better than average luck on all your pulls. Pour responsibly, stay weird. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.